Hey guys, I am. Well, my hair is just crazy, but I'm following up with you guys. um, I took down the documentary um because I needed more time to kind of deliberate on what's going on. Um, all I can really say is I have a lot I posted. Um, it's just disappointing to see that older people, and we're not talking about people in their 40s or anything like that. We're talking about people like probably in their 50s who decide that it's a good thing to go to El Camaroncito. And, um, I took it down because I really need to figure out how to put a narrative. I uploaded a little bit onto TikTok, and a lot of kids are being very receptive and very open about what I'm saying. I wound up seeing the devil. I mean, I know I didn't put that in the documentary, but too many things were happening to me at the point where I didn't want to sound crazy. So I wrote a book. It's called I Saw the Devil in San Antonio, and it's got the picture of the devil that I captured. That's one thing. But I took the documentary down because I feel I need more time to figure out how to put that narrative to make sure that people will be safe. And but that's why I took down the documentary. This other individual that decided to go even after I asked people not to go, to take my word for it. I'm sorry, my lungs are still dealing with the anesthesia. So, update, documentary's off till I figure out, what I want to do. Um, and so things are still happening, I guess, or just bad luck coincidentally. I've been working with my surgeon, and, I've been working with my doctor because of my lung capacity. I just have a hard time breathing. So I decided my brother was going to do a trade. We do a lot with collectibles. If you know me in person, I'm very much a fan of collectibles. And I didn't plan on going very far. I said, I'll see where I'm at on what I can do. I'm trying to get back into work. I feel really bad that I haven't been able to work, and I feel super guilty. But I mean, I can't talk. Sometimes I have a hard time breathing. And, I was working at that. And so they're x raying my chest. I have a sonogram with the recent things that have happened. So I have a lot of things going on, but I'm not surprised. So nonetheless, we go to the flea market, which I love doing. And, I said we're going to go down one aisle and we'll see if I can do it. It was around 11 o'clock. It was really weird. Since, before all of this happened, I would go every Sunday, get my steps in. And, sorry. They stopped us. My brother had a bag of Ninja Turtles that he was going to trade with the vendor there, and they stopped him and said, "You can't bring any bags in," which is not normal. And we took the bag to the car. We locked the car. And we went to talk to the vendor. We talked about everything that happened, why they hadn't seen me or him in pretty much months. And then, sorry, um, they were going to do the trade for some Pokemon stuff or whatever. And we said we're gonna leave. I wasn't feeling great, and we were just gonna go down that aisle, and we found a vendor who had some like a Nintendo Switch controller, and I was looking at the DVDs, and then all of a sudden we see a woman. Like, there's nothing in this area; it's all dirt, and the walls of the like area are really high. They're about 7 to 7.5 feet high, and it's like the tin roofing that's just solid. You can't see through it. If you're driving by the street in this area, you don't know how many vendors are really there, and it's in the dirt area. And so we're there, and there's not many vendors, and we see people just running by. And there's a lady with a stroller. She's pushing the stroller, running. She stops, takes the baby out of the stroller, and she's just running towards the walls. Men are then men are then running too. Like families, full families are just running. It was like Jurassic Park. People were screaming and crying. The cries were just they they were just it was just so it was tragic, really, honestly, how they were crying and saying they're shooting. And that's when I instinctively told my brother, we need to head away from where people are running. We need to follow the other people. And we still knew some of the terrain since we had been there for so long. We knew that there was a giant garbage can that was steel, but we didn't know if we were going to be cornered or not. And people were all running. I couldn't run. I stopped about 3 times gasping, because I couldn't. I haven't ran, I haven't even power walked. And it's really hard for me to catch my breath. And so it still wasn't helping as much. And we're up against a 7 foot fence that there is no way to climb. I mean, some people were climbing it, but I mean, it wasn't like there was a 2x4 at the very bottom, and then the next 2x4 was about 5 feet high, and then the next 2x4 was at the 7 foot, 6.5 to 7 foot top. And the drop was just a drop, like a 7 to 8 foot solid drop. There was no way to climb over like a cyclone fence. And so we finally get to we're by this big giant like shredder that's pure steel, but was a shooter. We had no idea what was going on. We just knew that someone was shooting. I could hear like the sound of shots. At first I thought they were like knocks, but then you realize that they're gunshots. And people were just crying, panicking because they could not get their families over the wall. There was no exits, there was no way out. You were trapped. And by chance, some of the men found an area where there was chain link fence, and they were heroic enough to pick it up about a foot to a foot and a half high, but they were having to use their strength because the bottom of the cyclone fence, it was only one side that was not secure. We had no tools, we had nothing. There was no vendors to give us tools to pry it open. So they were picking it up, and I was, that whoever that was, thank you, you're a hero for letting us out. And at some point people drove through the walls because I guess out of good conscience, they would rather do the property damage than allow babies and toddlers to die. And it was a really just surreal experience. There was a lot that happened so quickly. I had to crawl on my belly, on my sutures, commando style, to escape. We didn't know what was out there. The only real exit was towards the gunfire. Like, that's how serious this was. I mean, for me, it was just the worst part was, when we huddled all together, some of us that got to the side of the road, there was like kids that were just freaking out. And, I was just doing my best to tell them, like, you made it, you're fine, we're over here. I don't think, and what the craziest part was, they didn't know how many people were still loose with guns. And it's just, it was insane. I had to try to run for my life with having no oxygen. People are saying that you should be able to breathe and run with the mask. That's bullshit. I mean, I know I don't have the best airways right now, but I mean, I ran so quick. We were so quick to react and running that I was still running with my mask for probably a good minute. And probably when the first time I stopped because I was gasping and took my mask off, I was like, I don't care if the Rona kills me. I'd rather die there than in the dirt, because honestly, how bad the scene was imagine 10 walls. There's nothing there to cover you. There's no vendors there to hide behind, no cars to take the bullets. It was like a shooting range. You know how they have the wall? It was like that, literally. We were pickings for anyone. And it was incredibly insane. The way people were just crying. People were trying to. The tables were so high that you could not get on them. They were straight up like about maybe 4.5 feet. There's nobody with long ass legs to get up there. Like it was just impossible. And people drove through the walls. And the craziest part was I posted the videos that I posted on my Facebook, and Mission comments saying we will work on developing emergency exits. This should have been in place a long time ago. And then I go back to look at the comments today and they delete them. So, yeah, a lot's happened, but I guess the scariest part is people that are just all about not caring about families. You call yourself a business, for family, and then this happens and you allow them to be slaughtered. Like, that's a big problem for me. I had to crawl on my belly in hopes that I would escape a mass shooter or, some sort of violent crime, because there's no way out. You have to go towards that direction in order to escape. And, there's just a lot going on with that whole story that doesn't work so well for me, because the flea market said it was vendors, and now they're not saying that it's vendors anymore, even though somebody said it on the news. So they deleted my post about saying that they were going to work on emergency exits, but the news said for potentially internal bruising, because I had to, I hurt my leg. I have a bruise on my knee. It's insane. But that's basically what's happened so far. I'm happy to be alive, and thank you guys for, caring. But that's basically where I'm at. Still working on breathing better. But yeah, I just got seen by the doctor, and they're like, we have to do a sonogram. I'm like, they literally know me by name now. So that's where we're at. But, I'll keep you guys posted. Hopefully I'll get back into storytelling. Hopefully I could get back to working. But this is life. Just be careful. I was pretty alert on my surroundings, but you never know. I mean, I don't know if they're going to cover up that story or what, but it's not making a whole lot of sense what they're alleging. That's all I'll say. But like I said, just be aware, figure out where the exits are, because I took it for granted as far as that, but I still kind of knew the terrain. I think we would have been okay hiding behind that shredder dumpster, but it's insane. A lot of people took a lot of footage afterwards. I took it right after I went under the freaking fence. People were like, how did you manage to record? I said, somebody needs to record this, because I'll tell you right now, a lot of men had their hands cut because they were trying to rip off the tin wall. And that's incredibly sad that people had to risk their car, in order to save families. But that's where we're at. I will follow up with you guys. And like I said, hopefully I'll be doing like stuff ready for Halloween. I'm just really trying to heal. Like, I can't exercise. I can't do anything. I can't even work because I have like this kind of like almost like a hiccup kind of gasp that's kind of going on with my airways. But I will let you guys go. Thank you so much for following up.